Hello everyone and welcome back to another Infinite Galaxy video. First of all, I want to thank you all. We are growing constantly, already over 400 subscribers to the channel, and I'm really happy with that. Thank you all guys. Please also continue sharing the channel with people on your server, especially the people here from the newer servers. I think we have a lot of people here from the older servers. Leave me in the comments from which server you are. I'm really curious about from which server we have the audience. So please just write in the comment S1, S2, S9, S10, wherever you are from. Really looking forward to get an idea from which server you are. And today I want to talk about the Brontes. The Brontes is my favorite flagship at the moment. And before I do this, I want to have a look at the player question. I will now always take a look at one question, one of the best questions that came in from the past video. And Barca Kosoglu asked, what about how to manage your second fleet or mining fleet in early game? So this is a pretty good question because I did not talk about second fleet or mining fleets before. We were talking about warships and what to build, but we did not really talk about second fleet. So I would recommend for your second fleet to start with tier 2 destroyers because they have the highest load, and then get as soon as you get to tier 5 on the way up there, build tier 5 cruisers and especially tier 5 frigates. Tier 5 frigates do have missiles, they have the highest armor, and the cruisers are kinetic, which usually works very well, especially in campaign. And they are the last flagships you can build before you need nickel for the flagships. So that would be my recommendation. Tier 2 destroyers, because of the high load, you can use them for all your gathering fleets, and tier 5 frigates and cruisers, mainly for the damage. Later, when you got enough tier 2 destroyers to fill up your fleet, you can switch all of them to the highest tier. Okay, now let's take a look at my, at least at the moment, favorite flagship, the Brontes. The Brontes does have kinetic weapons on its A1 skill. It increases the total warship attack by up to 36%, while at the same time reduces the warship shield by 36%. If you watched my previous videos, I'm not a big fan of shield, so for me this is a really good trade. Trading shield for damage, I like that. The third skill increases the cruiser attacks versus frigate bonus. Cruiser warships do have a 15% penalty against frigates by default. This bonus works exactly in the opposite direction. It increases the attack up to 96%. That means your cruisers don't have weak targets anymore. They do have an increased damage against destroyers by 15% by default. They now have an increased damage versus frigates by default, and they have standard damage versus other cruisers. So all of this comes then together with up to 36 additional warship attack. The fourth skill increases the HP and attack of cruisers. So this is the third skill that increases the attack of our cruisers. Skill number 2, attack versus all. Skill number 4, attack versus all. Skill number 2, attack versus frigates. And at the same time also increasing cruiser HP. And the last skill increases the warship attack by another up to 48% as long as your fleet is above 70%. So important to note about these conditional things. When we talk about deployed fleet, it is always only considering your fleet. So if you do a joint attack, if you do a rally, it's always about your fleet. The Brontes is cruiser oriented, meaning you will have very low, or you should have very low frigates and destroyers inside your fleet. And honestly, you should have less than 30% of the total HP um, shared to your frigates, destroyers, and, very important, and flagship. This way, your cruisers will do an additional up to 48% damage till your flagship got destroyed. And we can take a look at this attacking some pirates later. Your flagship tanks usually before your cruisers are getting damaged. So this is a huge boost. Okay, let's take a look. Can you use the Brontes in campaign? I talked about this already before. Honestly, you can use every flagship in campaign. Um, Also the Brontes. First skill is kinetic, launches 8. Kinetic weapons are really good in campaign because they usually have a low cooldown. You got a circular range, deals damage, so AoE damage, that's good. You got increasing the range of flagship and warship and increases the damage. That's very good, especially if you fight other flagships, you can stay out of their range. You can even like fly away from them and still hit them while they can't hit you. Increases attack of the flagship, one of the best skills you can get for campaign, and the last one increases attack of cruiser, increases HP of cruisers. So if you use the Brontes and you got the last skill unlocked, I would recommend summon cruisers. At least this way you can get the last skill to work to give you additional damage there. Okay, how did I equip my Brontes? I did start before with kinetic weapons. As you see, still all of them are kinetic weapons. This is based on the warship you are using. So if you are using tier 6 cruisers, you should use laser. If you're using tier 7 cruisers, you should use kinetic. If you use tier 8, it's laser again. So check your fleet and look what is the main warship you're using, and then choose a weapon based on that. For the modules, I do have a mix of HP and HP plus armor. This allows me to have a lot of HP in my flagship. Increasing the armor will also help surviving the flagship, or if you use frigates, a little bit longer. So I would not go with shield, especially not with skill 2 that reduces the warship shield. So HP and armor is the best way to go. I did use 2 pure HP modules because they increase the HP by the maximum, and then as I don't have enough blueprints for more purple modules, I really do like the gold porcelain armor as it increases armor and HP at the same time. So last point, where to use the Brontes. I use it everywhere. I use it to kill pirates. It works like a dream with pirates because the pirates will shoot at the flagship first before they shoot at the Brontes. I do use it for all events where I can join fights, just because when you join fights with the Brontes, your cruisers will survive longest, and yeah, the longer your cruisers survive, the more damage you can bring out. Also, it is one of the few flagships that increases damage with nearly every skill. So depending what you fight, you might lose versus frigate bonus, but for most situations you do have 3 or even 4 skills that increase your damage, which is enormous. This is This is really big. We got attack 36%, we got attack nearly 100%, we got attack 28%, and we got attack 48%. So you will do a lot of damage here. And yeah, let's just attack these ones. They are directly next to my base. I don't want anything next to my base. If you take a look, you will see I got all the cruisers here. The flagship is taking the damage. You can see they all focus on the flagship. The flagship got destroyed, but at this point the pirates are already dead. So this is how it works with the Brontes. This is what I really like about it. You can use it everywhere. Make your flagship use your modules to increase your flagship survivability. If you join fights, you are good. There are always some frigates, some other destroyers, and more flagships that die before your cruisers will get attacked. And if you take a look how I set it up, I do have only cruisers in my setup. I'm now switching from tier 7 to tier 8. As you can see, just around 50%. So I have now these days to switch over my weapons from kinetics to laser, and that will increase my damage even more then. That's it. So I hope you liked the video. Brontes, my favorite flagship at the moment. Also, it's purple, that means I can easily rank it up. Not like the legendary ones that are very hard, very difficult to rank up. And if you didn't do it yet, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and see you next time.